In Michigan, a recent decision over restrictions on the Ambassador Bridge has many people in trucking talking. But before you think about whether it is or isn't a big deal, let's talk about why this could change trucking forever.
Shall we begin?
From the headquarters of the Truth in Broadcasting Network, introducing Truckin City Journal and the El-Rushbo of trucking news, Boss Man.
Truck lovers and truth seekers, I'm Boss Man. I am your host on this journey through Truckin City Journal, the CIC running what's called the Truth in Broadcasting Network, given a skill granted by God to help you and me together make trucking great again. Glad you're with me today. I want to talk to you today about an important topic that didn't get a whole lot of press. If you wouldn't mind, viewer contributions are what keep this channel alive. If you know of a story you want covered that doesn't get enough press, similar to the one I'm talking about today, send it to thatstruckingnews@outlook.com. That's truckingnews@outlook.com. I'd love to cover it and get your thoughts as well. According to Landline magazine, the state of Michigan is preparing to lift some restrictions on hazardous materials being transported over the Ambassador Bridge. Starting October 29th, the state will allow certain fuels and battery materials to cross the bridge, but only during off-peak hours with vehicle escorts. Now, at first glance, this might seem like a reasonable adjustment to accommodate modern transportation demands, but I have but one question that others have placed in social media accounts everywhere. Will it open a Pandora's box? Or will this simply go unnoticed and untouched? Folks, I'm here to look at the unseen possibilities. I do it all the time. If you look at other videos on my channel, I take this very approach with a lot of different issues that relate to our profession. Because the trucking industry is what it is, and indeed our entire economy hinges on decisions like this, it revolves around exactly what we're talking about. Michigan's decision to ease hazmat restrictions on the Ambassador Bridge. Well, what happens when you change one thing in a system that works? Now, I'm describing a potential problem is what I'm doing, but Michigan's decision, the potential problem with that decision is that, like these, while appearing isolated or region-specific, have a way of spreading out and creating problems elsewhere in the system. Sure, they're making a case based on its own unique situation, okay? Detroit being a major hub with growing demands for battery materials to help improve this EV market they're building and everything else. They depend on cross-border trade in order to facilitate most of that market. But what about the bigger picture? They're making this decision to ease those restrictions, and by default, they have now set a precedent. And folks, we all know what happens when you set a precedent. When Michigan opens the door, who's next? What happens when other states say, well, Michigan did it, why can't we? And suddenly you've got a domino effect where more bridges, more highways, and more routes, more states start lifting restrictions for the sake of just sheer convenience. What about safety? What happened to that? What about accountability? Once again, precedent set, and it's not just about Detroit, it's about the entire network of infrastructure that we as truckers all have to navigate every single day. Are you ready to give up your safety and freedom to get home to your loved ones? Some may watch this video and already get on a tirade that I'm against EV and progress. This story, in my opinion, have nothing to do with EVs or progress or technology. None whatsoever. It, however, has everything to do with safety standards that are set that the trucking industry itself depends on to get the job done safely. And legislators and bureaucrats constantly are notorious for letting them slide in the name of the bigger picture. So I ask now, is this a slippery slope? Maybe. Maybe it's simply recognizing the reality of modern logistics. Michigan's doing what's necessary to be competitive in a global market, especially with battery materials being what they are and flammable fuels being critical to the industries of tomorrow. But here's the thing. If we open this door, are we prepared for what follows behind it? The danger in setting a precedent like this isn't about what happens today, but it's about what happens next month, next year, or maybe in another 5 years. Thinking about what other states and other localities decide to do based on what Michigan has done. When that happens, where does it end? Are we diluting standards in this industry that have protected drivers? Are we making weak the very thing that has saved people like you and me and helped first responders? Or are we simply evolving? Where do you draw the line? Comment down below and let me know. If you take a minute and go down below and hit the like button, I would be forever grateful. And so would everyone else in the trucking industry. It's critical questions like this that need to be asked when you make exceptions to serve the few that may harm the many. This video is one of many that I'm running to spread awareness about the fact that we need to raise the bar when it comes to our industry. It's about time the public and first responders are put ahead of us. One thing to make a buck, but it's another entirely when you harm people using a truck. When you're on the road doing your job day by day, we are seen as the beacon of higher standards. It's the trucks that make the deliveries, but it's you with your knowledge and foresight that make the difference. Keep rolling smart, keep rolling safe, and remember to keep it rolling.